This is Ogtv Comprehensive News. I am Tunji Akintayo. Thanks for joining us. On the news, at first Jumat service in 2019, Governor Ibikunle Amosun praised for socio-political stability of the nation. President Muhammadu Buhari appeals to organized labor to shun industrial action over new minimum wage. United States Democrats-controlled House of Representatives challenge President Trump on shutdown. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man. Happy and prosperous year 2019.
Hello everyone, my name is Ido Fabajo. On Business News tonight, market capitalization declines further by 49 billion naira for the third trade day in 2019. To join us at the business segment of the news for details.
On sport news tonight, Nigerian table tennis star Aruna Kadri remains #1 in Africa, starts New Year as world number 26. Details of this and more sporting stories later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi.
Now the full details of the news. The new year presents another opportunity for the people to seek the face of God and allow Him in all their affairs. Ogun State Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun made this known in his message to faithful after observing the first Juma service of the year at the Governor's Office Secretariat Mosque.
Counting us worthy of being part of those that will see 2019. Yes, as we've observed, this is the very first Jumat. Our prayer is that as we will do all the 52 in the year.
Governor Amosun said it is a new beginning of greater things to come for Ogun State and the nation.
That we will continue to peace and harmony. That we continue peaceful to progressive, so prosperity, fulfillment, all that we ask from Almighty Allah, He will answer it.
The governor then prayed to Allah to help him witness the remaining Jumat service in the year. People-oriented projects, in addition to building on the existing infrastructure development, will be focused by the Allied People's Movement when the party emerges victorious in the 2019 governorship race in Ogun State. Gubernatorial candidate of the party, Honorable Adekunle Abdulkabir Akinlade, stated this at Afon Local Council Development Area, where the political party kick-started its campaign tour across Ogun State. Peter Falomo reports.
Allied People's Movement Campaign Organization in Ogun State begins its political campaign to the 236 wards in the state, as ward locations in Afon Local Council Development Area were first to receive the campaign train in a rousing welcome. Party loyalists in Obada and Owode Idiayin, men and women associations, members of Fulani community, as well as students, expressed their wishes and happiness for the candidacy of the APM flag bearer, Honorable Adekunle Akinlade.
For a mission to rebuild and to refurbish.
Ogun State, òun ni bàbá wa, Senator Ibikunle Amosun.
The people were enjoined to ensure they stand firmly with APM that is ready to sustain the mission of taking Ogun State to greater heights. Over 50 people at Atakpele Ward from other political parties were welcomed to the Allied People's Movement, where the community leader, Chief Idowu Olasebikon, speaks on their support for APM.
Gómìnà tó lè ṣe ni gómìnà wa yìí o, òun ni gbogbo wa ń fẹ́ bí àfọwọ́sí afẹ́fẹ́ sí ọkàn wa tẹ́wọ́ gbà dáadáa yóò dẹ̀ wọlé lágbára ọba ládẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ láàrú yóò wọlé yóò sì wọlé ẹbí gómìnà yóò dẹ̀ ṣe wá lóore tó bá débẹ̀.
At the LCDA headquarters, Afon, the royal father, Oba Adelere Adetono, says Honorable Akinlade should ensure he fulfills his campaign promises when he gets to governorship seat.
Bákan náà, ẹ rí àwọn nǹkan kan àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ tó lè ta lè rí pé ó lè múlù dàgbàsókè. Àrí yunifásitì ń bẹ̀ nígbà tí gómìnà wa tó wà ń bẹ̀ ní the present governor. Nǹkan tó ń ṣe sí Ìgbókíá. Àwa náà à ń fi ẹ̀ inú wa ń dùn sí àbọ̀ olóríire à ń bá a yọ̀. Tiwa náà àrètí pé ń gbẹ̀ pọ̀ ẹ̀ ṣe tiwa náà fún wa.
In a special interview, the APM governorship candidate, Honorable Akinlade, says his administration will not only consolidate on the success of the current administration, the state will improve on infrastructure development and be more investment-friendly to the investors and improve on human capital development.
My job in the next 4 to 8 years is to go to phase 2 of the blueprint for Ogun State. That's the rail, the airport, and all that we want to do. And I believe in Ogun West, you will see difference very soon. In Ogun East, you will see difference. In Ogun Central, we will improve in what is there because it is well structured out. We have a brilliant succession plan. There are things down. We have the kickoff facility. The funds are there for us to kick off. And I believe that God will do it.
The APM campaign organization moves the train to another council area in the state. Peter Falomo, Ogtv News.
For Nigeria to compete effectively in the education sector, adequate funding and human capacity development to drive the sector for the socio-economic growth and development of the nation must be done. Some educationists made this known while speaking with our reporter Yusuf Ganiyu on how Nigerian education system can compete globally. His report.
The state of education in any society is a combination of many factors, including the resources committed to the education sector and the quality of personnel assigned to manage the system. However, to improve the standard of education and compete globally, Nigeria must first educate the educators and improve the level of psychological satisfaction.
Until we come back to the drawing board in the sense that the planners of the so-called curriculum of education should sit there. We should look at personnel. Personnel, I mean, is this: whoever working on it, they should be able to gear up to responsibilities if they want to help this country. They need to address issues of holistically in terms of planning, where you plan, execution, and continuity.
Quality education and good business environment are among the primary means to improve an economy and enhance people's productivity and their living standards, which will strengthen their global competitiveness.
There should be sound education in Nigeria. If you compare it with other overseas countries, we still have a lot to do in order to improve our standard of education.
If we get a qualified and require the personnel in this sector, sincerely, even the little government is, setting aside for this sector is enough. Is enough for us to at least to start and get,
You're watching Ogtv News. In order to put an end to out-of-school children's syndrome in Nigeria, there's a need for poverty eradication and job opportunity for parents. Some Nigerians who spoke with Ogtv News pointed this out in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Elizabeth Esson completes the story.
It has been estimated that Nigeria is currently home to over 10.5 million school-aged children who are not in school, with majority of them engaged in child labor. Both high and middle level advocacy and sensitization on utilization of universal basic education direct intervention projects and access, as well as utilization of the UBE matching grants, were carried out in 6 geopolitical zones of the country. What is the cause of out-of-school children syndrome in Nigeria?
Poverty is first and foremost the root cause. Secondly, unemployment causes out-of-school children, because so many people have their children out of school because they don't have jobs. Then lack of proper education is another reason.
By looking inward, I think the problem has to do with government as well as parents. Government on the side is government encouraging parents and children to attend school. That is one factor. From the parent angle, yes, one can look at the financial aspect of it, where some parents could not be able to afford tuition fees and other things needed in the school.
What are the ways of tackling the menace?
Child Rights Act must be domesticated in so many states, more than 15, in fact all the 36 states, and it must be enforced by government to ensure that first and foremost children are sent to school, whether you have money or not, whether you have job or not, send your children to school. And that's the reason why these school failing children will help a lot, because some people drop out of school because of what to eat. They don't have what to eat, and so they believe that, yes, let me go and beg. But instead of begging, if you are helped to be in school and you are being fed in that school and your books are provided, I think it will work. Government must take the bull by the horn.
Out of school children syndrome seems to have defied the various strategies put in place by government at all levels to address the menace. This has made the federal government develop a national framework to address the out-of-school children syndrome in Nigeria. Elizabeth Eson, Ogtv News.
Trial marriage is a period before a proper marriage is done, when a couple lives together as husband and wife to know if their living together is compatible for marriage or not. A man, Kolawole Osho, was in the street of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, to seek people's opinion on the effects of trial marriage. His report is presented in this package.
Marriage is a universal institution which is recognized and respected all over the world. As a social institution, marriage is founded on and governed by laws, social and religious norms of society. Marriage under the Act is a voluntary union between a man and a woman to the exclusion of others. The celebration of marriage under the Marriage Act is usually referred to as statutory marriage, but some couples do engage themselves in premarital cohabitation, otherwise known as trial marriage before statutory marriage. The rate of divorce during these 2 decades, therefore, is high due to the system of trial marriage.
I don't support trial marriage because it is against the do's and don'ts of marriage. In a proper marriage, whether it is good or bad, it is for parties to work it out. But a trial marriage, where it is good today, they stick to the marriage. Where it is bad, they leave.
Along the line, they will know the character, the behavior of each other. And one thing is certain, whether you are courting for 10 years, you will only know maybe 50% of one's behavior until the last day. By the time you marry finally, you will now begin to know. No perfect husband and no perfect wife.
The good reason why couples engage in trial marriage is that during the period of living together, they will realize if they are compatible for marriage or not. According to some Nigerians, the system usually exposes all the negative side effects of one another, which they describe as stupid idea.
Each marriage has its own trials. It has its own ups and downs. So in a trial marriage where you have kids and you are now saying because today we are not compatible again, I want to leave, what is going to happen to the children of that marriage? What will happen to the future of that marriage? Whereas in a proper marriage, it is part of the training you undergo in church, in mosque, or before the registrar of marriage, unless the court, you file a divorce and they separate the parties.
Trial marriage doesn't work, particularly for Christians and for people who come from a good home. Why should you be staying with a man? It's a pity most of our children in the university, you see a lady staying together with a boy in the university. And that's trial marriage. It doesn't work. It always ends up in disappointment.
What is the position of law on cohabiting couples?
Our law does not support trial marriage. A marriage is a union between 2 consenting adults. The marriage recognized under the law, it's either a customary marriage, marriage in a licensed place of worship, which is we are calling church or mosque marriage, or marriage before a registrar of marriage, which people normally call court marriage. Those are the 3 types of marriages recognized under the law. Trial marriage is not supported by our law.
Religious leaders also speak on religious perspective on cohabiting couples, called trial marriage.
As the name implies, trial marriage, severally, it doesn't work. You say we have trial and error. Eventually, it falls into error. There is no trial marriage, particularly in Christendom.
By the meaning of trial marriage, yes, we are cutting for because we have some couples. They have married each other even right from the secondary school. They get to the university, they finish their education, they now marry finally. But this time around, our youth, the world is moving even faster than the jet. Before they can do anything, they want to test it. They want to taste it. And Islamically, it is not like that.
Some Nigerians who spoke with Ogtv News affirmed to this reporter that they have tried it, but it doesn't work as planned.
As still to come on the news, President Muhammadu Buhari appeals to the organized labor to withdraw industrial action threat. More news and reports after this break.
Data ó ń lò ní gbogbo ìgbà láti fi orin sí orí ẹ̀rọ rẹ̀. Ó ń lò lè fi wo oríṣiríṣi eré àgbéléwò láti orí ẹ̀rọ rẹ̀. Ó ní àwọn ilé ìfowópamọ́ fi ń ṣe àmójútó owó rẹ̀. Kò ṣeé má ní fún ayé ìgbàlódé. Data gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn tó ṣe ìwádìí orísun rẹ̀ ṣe sọ. Púpọ̀ àti púpọ̀ ọrú rẹ̀ wá láti ibi. Wọ́n ti gbà pé Glo ní nẹ́tíwọ̀kì tó tóbi jù. Pẹ̀lú Glo One submarine wire wọn, àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ abẹ́ omi ti so gbogbo rẹ̀ pọ̀ lónìrànràn pẹ̀lú 10 ti ẹgbẹ̀rún kìlómítà okùn ìríran ẹ̀rọ wọn. Glo lè pèsè dátà oníyekíye ní ìrọ̀rùn pẹ̀lú owó tí ò gani lára rárá. Ṣòtìrì Glo wà nínú afẹ́fẹ́ ní ibi gbogbo. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ́rí fún ọ̀gá àgbà.
Dátà ni èmi tà mí. Gba ìdá 125 lórí gbogbo ètò dátà, ìfà dátà, ìdá 25 tí kò ní tàbí ṣùgbọ́n nínú lórí atúmìṣe ètò dátà ní kíákíá tẹ *777# láti yan ètò dátà tó fẹ́. Kò nídìíwọ́, kò nínira.
You're welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a passionate appeal to the organized labor to withdraw its threat for the industrial action and encourage his administration to sustain efforts. Receiving the leadership of National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, on a courtesy visit, the president asked the labor leaders to appreciate the enormity of the challenges confronting Nigeria and the consensual steps being taken towards addressing them within the limit of resources. Nigerian leader is, however, worried that some Nigerians, for reasons best known to them, have failed to understand that any course of action taken by this administration is in the best interest of the nation's majority.
We to Labour to please withdraw their threat, encourage this administration to run this country properly, to utilize the national resources for infrastructure, so that the majority of Nigerians can benefit.
President Muhammadu Buhari appealed to the striking Academic Staff Union of Universities, NASU, to go back to classes for the sake of the nation's future leaders, as the governing APC is always committed to delivering honest promises. He expressed the belief that his administration is not only on course, but remains focused in enhancing the economy, achieving full security, securing the country, and fighting corruption as the bane of national development. He challenged Nigerians not to hesitate to expose anyone in the present government found to have abused trust, no matter how highly placed, and see what can be done.
Truth about allegations of corruption or extreme indiscipline against any of my ministers, of the governors, or against myself. And I assure them that I will act accordingly.
The president, however, admitted that it is virtually impossible to recover everything stolen from Nigeria prior to his administration.
Ask the PDP government to account for that money.
The national president of NANS, Danielson Bamidele Akpan, told the president that the Nigerian students fully appreciate his efforts at taking Nigeria to greater heights. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has agreed to participate in the 2019 general elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced. The announcement was made via the Commission's official information platform. Earlier, the Commission has said that its chairman would meet with the national leadership of ASU in Abuja. The purpose of the meeting, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu revealed in a statement on INEC website, is to discuss the ongoing strike by the union, but only in relation to the preparation for the general election. He said the concern was that the bulk of critical election duty staff are drawn from the universities. Also, that they are determined to ensure that the election processes are not affected by the union's industrial action. ASU is a critical partner to the Commission in delivering credible elections, the INEC boss said. Every 4th of January is celebrated as World Braille Day. It marks the birthday of Louis Braille, the French inventor of the reading and writing code for the blind. There are Braille codes for virtually every written language in the world so that blind people everywhere can become literate and acquire the opportunities that literacy provides. In this report, Idowu Fabajo x-rays the impact this has made in the world.
A means of realizing fully the human rights of visually impaired and partially sighted people, and bringing written language to the forefront as a critical prerequisite for promoting fundamental freedom. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities declared 4th of January every year as World Braille Day. A visit to a retired permanent secretary in Ogun State who is visually impaired, Mr. Elijah Akinyemi, shows how easy it is to read and write with Braille code.
So when I come to you and say, sir, I want Biro, this is what you should give me.
Wow.
So, and this is my computer hooked onto this embosser computer.
Okay.
It's not different from the usual computer you see all over the place.
Okay.
But the only difference is it has a speech feedback,
okay,
which, announces to the blind, okay, what's on the screen. So I'm going to read the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights. On 10 December 1948, the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted and proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Mr. Elijah Akinyemi and one Mrs. Toyin Laoshe share their experiences on the use of Braille.
It has given me independence. It has given me recognition. It has made me great. It has made me inclusive. I'm proud of Braille.
Braille has done a lot of things. I got blind at the age of 11 when I was in primary 5. That was 1980. And then my parents took me down to Pasheli School for the Blind at Surulere in Lagos. There I learned how to read Braille because the blind use Braille. As having sight problem, I can't read any print paper or whatever. So I was taught how to read and write in Braille, and that has improved me, has helped me because I learned Braille. That was why I can further my education.
They solicited for more support from individuals for the upcoming generation who are visually impaired.
You see, we need to talk to the government because to educate a visually impaired person, a visually impaired child, it is not easy. It is very, very costly. So most of the time, the parents cannot afford it, especially the poor parents. Because when you are talking of braille machine, now it's almost 200,000. So it's not easy to get. All we need to do is
accessible to everybody who has access to education. Education is the key to life. without education, one is nowhere. Therefore, if one is blind, rather than think of redeeming sight, think of education, and life will be meaningful for you.
Braille is not a code to be deciphered, but it is a method of reading and writing that is equal in value to print for sighted people. The way in which blind and partially sighted people develop literacy skills may differ, but the goal is the same: to use reading, writing, and other literacy tools to gather and understand important information and to convey important information to themselves and to others. Ido Fabajo, Ogtv News.
The Nigerian Army 78 regular recruits intake for both trades and non-tradesmen and women has commenced from 17th December 2018 and will end on the 27th of January 2019. Recruitment forms are obtainable online free of charge at www.recruitment.army.mil.ng. A release from the Director of Information, Abiodun Awere, discloses that candidates must be between the ages of 18 to 22 years for non-tradesmen and women, and tradesmen and women respectively by the 18th of February 2019. They must also possess minimum educational qualification of WASC, NECO, NAPTEB with at least 4 credits including English language, while candidates applying as tradesmen women must possess, in addition to the above qualification, OND and trade test, city and guild certificate. All applicants will be screened online, and qualified applicants will be shortlisted to attend the physical screening exercise at the State Recruitment Center located in Artillery Brigade, Alamala Barracks, Abeokuta. Major General Benson Akuroluyo, the theater commander Operation Lafia Dole, has tasked police personnel deployed to the northeast to be professional and respect human rights in the discharge of their duties. He gave the charge at the induction exercise of the personnel at 333 Artillery Regiment Jimtilo in Maiduguri. He admonished the personnel to display high sense of professionalism and respect for human rights laws in the discharge of their duties. He stressed that the force headquarters and indeed headquarters of Operation Lafia Dole expects nothing less than professionalism from each and every one of them as they go about their duties. The theater commander noted that the police personnel were exposed to requisite and building their confidence. He said that training was to enable them carry out the task of stabilizing liberated towns and communities in the theater operation. He added that necessary logistics such as sleeping kits, operational and feeding allowance had been provided, and assured that all their entitlements will be given to them. According to him, personnel will be deployed to Bama, Gubio, Dikwa, Dambwa, and Maiduguri, saying that other personnel have already been deployed to Damaturu and Biu. While congratulating the personnel on successful completion of the 4-week training, he also called on them to cooperate and work in synergy with troops and other security operatives in the theater.